I didn't mean to call her. That's the part people don't believe when I tell this story, like it had to be fate, like the universe wrote it with a fancy pen and dramatic music. But no. It was pure exhaustion, bad judgment, and a phone screen I could barely see at 3 a.m. And honestly, that might be the most real part of all of it. Because when you're a single dad running on fumes, you don't make romantic decisions. You make survival decisions. You make please let my kid stop crying so I can breathe for 2 minutes decisions. That night, I was one wrong tap away from losing everything I'd built. And one wrong tap is exactly what I made. My name's Gavin Holt. I'm the CEO of a mid-sized software company in Portland, Oregon. Not one of those billionaire rocket guys. More like I live in spreadsheets and stress kind of CEO. And I'm also a single dad to a 5-year-old little hurricane named Maya. My wife passed 2 years ago. Cancer. The kind that doesn't care how hard you pray or how many doctors you throw money at. One day we were planning preschool. The next day I was signing paperwork I couldn't even read through the tears. After that, it was just me and Maya. No family nearby. No built-in village. Just the two of us in a house that suddenly felt too big and too quiet. Most nights, I hold it together. I'm good at that. I'm good at pretending. I'm good at wearing a suit, saying the right things, closing deals, and then coming home to make dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets like it's the most normal thing in the world. But that night, the mask slipped. It was 3 a.m. exactly when the storm hit like a freight train. Thunder slammed so hard the windows shook. Rain pounded the roof like somebody was throwing gravel at it. The power flickered once, just enough to scare you, then stayed on, but the sound outside was violent, like the sky was angry. And Maya. My sweet brave Maya who can handle scraped knees like a champ. Maya was terrified. She was curled up on the couch in her little star-print pajamas, clutching her stuffed bear, Captain Waffles, like he was body armor. Every time thunder cracked, she'd scream, "Daddy, it's coming inside. It's gonna get me." Her voice shook so bad it broke my heart. I tried everything. Warm milk. Cartoons. I even sang this ridiculous song about thunder being a grumpy cloud with tummy aches. I'm not proud of it. But desperate dads don't have pride. Nothing worked. The storm got louder and Maya got more panicked, and I could feel my own anxiety rising like a tide. Here's the thing people don't talk about with single dads. The exhaustion isn't just physical. It's mental. It's emotional. It's knowing that if you fall apart, there's nobody else to catch it. There's no tag, you're in. There's no backup parent. There's just you. Always you. And that night, I had a board meeting at 8 a.m. The kind that could decide whether my company survived the next year. We were negotiating a merger. Big money. Big consequences. I had to show up sharp. I had to be a machine. But at 3 a.m., I wasn't a machine. I was a dad with a shaking kid and a brain that felt like wet cement. So I did what any exhausted, desperate person would do. I looked for help. I grabbed my phone and opened my contacts. I had a list labeled emergency babysitters. Mostly numbers from agencies, recommendations from coworkers, people I'd saved after interviews and never actually called. I'd meant to be more organized. I'd meant to build a better support system. But meant to is a luxury when you're barely surviving. Maya screamed again as lightning flashed across the living room. My hand shook. I scrolled too fast. My eyes were blurry. And I tapped a number without really reading it. The phone rang. Once. Twice. 3 times. Then a sleepy voice answered. Hello. I didn't even check the name. I just blurted, "Hi, I'm so sorry, I need help. My daughter's freaking out. There's a storm. I've got a meeting in the morning. Can you come over right now?" There was a pause. A long pause. Then the voice said, confused but calm, Okay. What's your address?" Relief hit me like a drug. I rattled it off. Thank you, seriously. Just hurry." And I hung up. I thought I'd called a babysitter. I didn't. I called Nora Sinclair. And Nora Sinclair was not a babysitter. Not even close. Nora was complicated. Nora was the kind of woman you notice without wanting to notice. I met her at a corporate charity event months earlier. One of those stiff, boring things where everyone pretends to care about the silent auction while secretly networking. I was in CEO mode that night. Polite smile, empty compliments. Then Nora showed up like a glitch in the system. She was wearing a simple black dress, no fake laugh, no please approve of me energy. She walked up to the dessert table, reached for a cupcake, and the entire tray tilted, dumping frosting all over the shoes of my company's most arrogant investor. The room froze. The investor looked like he'd been stabbed. And Nora just blinked, looked at his shoes, and said, "Well, at least now they have personality." I laughed. Like a real laugh. The kind I hadn't done in a long time. She looked at me, smirked, and said, "You're the only one who didn't act like I committed a felony." We talked for 10 minutes. That was it. Nothing romantic. Just easy. Human. Then she vanished into the crowd, and I didn't see her again. But her name stayed in my phone because I'd saved it after she texted me a joke about frosting being a weapon. I forgot it was there. Until 3 a.m. during a storm. At 3:34 a.m., my doorbell rang. Maya jolted. I nearly tripped over Captain Waffles running to the door. I opened it expecting a tired nanny in a coat, maybe holding a bag of emergency toys. Instead, there stood Nora Sinclair, hair wild, eyes half asleep, wearing plaid pajama pants, an oversized hoodie, and one sneaker. Just one. The other foot was in a fuzzy sock. She was holding her phone like she might throw it at me. She squinted. Gavin Holt. My soul left my body. I just stared at her like she was a hallucination. Nora. She blinked harder. Oh my God. You're that suit guy. You're the CEO. And then she smiled, slow and amused. This is your house. Behind me, Maya let out a scared little whimper. Thunder boomed again. Nora stepped inside like she owned the place. Where's the kid? Istomred. I thought I called a babysitter. Nora burst out laughing. Not a cute giggle. A full, loud laugh like my misery was the funniest thing she'd heard all week. Me? A babysitter? She wiped her eyes. Gavin, I thought you were dying. Or locked out. Or your house was on fire. You sounded like you were about to collapse. I rubbed my face, mortified. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean dash. She waved me off. Relax. I'm already here. Let's handle the tiny human first. And just like that, the chaos became a team sport. Nora knelt by Maya on the couch, lowering her voice. Hey, Maya. I'm Nora. I'm like a storm ninja. Maya sniffled. A what? Nora whispered. Storm ninja. I fight thunder. I scare lightning away. But only if you tell me your name. Maya hesitated, then mumbled it. Nora nodded seriously. Okay. Maya. Here's the truth. Thunder is loud because it's clumsy. It trips over clouds. Maya stared. It trips. Nora nodded. All the time. Thunder is basically a big dumb puppy. Maya almost smiled. Almost. Then thunder cracked again and Maya screamed. Nora jumped up like she was offended. Oh no, he didn't. She marched to the window, threw it open a crack, and yelled into the storm. Hey, we are trying to sleep in here. Take your drama somewhere else. I froze. Maya froze. Then Maya started laughing. Like real laughing. I covered my mouth, shocked, because it was the first time Maya laughed all night. Nora turned back, triumphant. See? Thunder's scared of me. I couldn't help it. I laughed too. Then things got messy. Like, sitcom messy. Nora tried to make Maya hot cocoa and accidentally used salt instead of sugar. Maya took one sip and made a face like she'd tasted poison. Nora panicked and grabbed apple juice instead, squeezed the bottle too hard, and sprayed juice across the couch. Onto Captain Waffles. Onto my work laptop bag. I hissed, Nora. She yelled back, I'm trying. At the same time, my phone started blowing up with messages from my executive team. Slides are wrong. Where are you? We need approvals. My assistant called 3 times. I answered with a sock in my hand, wiping juice like an Then Maya hiccuped and giggled again, and suddenly the whole room broke into laughter, the kind where you can't stop even though you're exhausted and everything's wrong. It was ridiculous. It was messy. It was alive. At around 4:40 a.m., the storm finally softened. Maya passed out on the couch with Captain Waffles tucked under her chin, damp but loved. The living room looked like a small war happened, dew stains, blankets everywhere, my phone face down in a puddle because yes, at some point I dropped it. Nora and I sat at the kitchen table with coffee. She looked tired but peaceful. I looked like I'd been hit by a truck. I stared into my cup and said quietly, "Thank you." She shrugged. "It's fine." "No," I said, voice cracking a little. "It's not fine. You didn't have to come. You could have told me to go to hell." Nora softened. "You sounded like you needed help." That sentence hit harder than it should have. Because I did. And I hadn't said it out loud to anyone in a long time. I admitted, I'm not good at asking for help. Nora smirked. "Yeah, I noticed." I laughed, but it was shaky. It's been just me and Maya for a while. I'm supposed to have it together. CEO, Dad, everything. And tonight I just didn't. Nora leaned forward, resting her elbows on the table. "Gavin, you don't have to be perfect to be a good dad." I swallowed hard. She added, "Also, you're terrible at cocoa." "Hey," I said, "you made salty cocoa." She grinned. Details. We sat there in the quiet, listening to Maya's soft breathing. And for the first time in a long time, the house didn't feel heavy. It didn't feel like grief lived in the walls. It felt warm, human. When the sun finally started creeping through the curtains, Maya woke up and padded into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. She looked at Nora like she was checking if she was still real. Then she walked right up to me and said, loud and clear, "Daddy, I like her." Nora froze mid-sip. I blinked. "You do?" Maya nodded seriously. She yelled at thunder. Nora laughed quietly. "That's my specialty." Maya looked at me like this was obvious. Can she come back? My chest tightened in this weird mix of fear and hope. Because kids see through everything. They don't care about status or money or what people think. They care about how someone makes them feel safe. I looked at Nora. "So? Do you want to dash?" Nora raised an eyebrow. "Careful, CEO." I exhaled and went for it. I don't want this to be just a weird storm story. Would you? Maybe go to dinner with me? Like a real date.
No storms. No choose. No salty cocoa.
Nora stared at me for a beat. Then she smiled. "Only if you promise not to call me at 3 a.m. again unless it's truly life or death." I laughed. "Deal." She nodded. Then yes. And just like that. One wrong call became the right one. Now here's the part one want you to think about. Because people argued about this when I told them. Some said, "That's romantic." Others said, "That's irresponsible." They said a single dad shouldn't bring a stranger into the house at night. And honestly, I get it. I really do. But sometimes life doesn't give you perfect timing. Sometimes it gives you a storm, a scared kid, and a choice: stay alone and drown, or accept help when it shows up in fuzzy socks and one sneaker. So let me ask you. Was I wrong for letting Nora in? Or was that exactly what a real community looks like? Showing up when someone's struggling, even if it's awkward and messy. Drop your opinion in the comments, because I want to hear it. And if you've ever had a moment where a mistake changed your life, tell me that story too. Like, subscribe, and stick around. Because the real surprise wasn't the storm or the wrong call. It was what happened the next week when Nora met my coworkers. And they realized the CEO wasn't the one in control anymore.